Today, 24th July, the most important, unexpectedly wonderful day in your life. A miracle. Today is not just a date on the calendar. It is a divine appointment written into the fabric of your destiny. This moment, July 24th, carries the vibration of a long awaited breakthrough. What you once whispered in silence, cried out for in private, and envisioned in the sanctuary of your imagination has now begun to unfold before your very eyes. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. Something has shifted in the unseen realms, and now the seen must respond. The barriers have collapsed, the invisible wall has cracked open. The miracle you thought would take months or years has arrived suddenly, without warning yet with perfect timing. You did not stumble into this day, your spirit called it forth. You aligned with the version of yourself who already possessed the promise, and now the outer world bends to reflect that truth. This is the day that the heavens have rejoiced over, the day when you realized that nothing was ever denied, only prepared. The power that shaped this moment lives within you, and because you dared to believe, the impossible has become your reality. Breathe it in. You are standing in the middle of the miracle. Imagination creates reality, and today proves it from the very beginning. Everything that has ever been brought into this world, every invention, every triumph, every transformation, has first existed in the realm of imagination. The world you see around you is merely a shadow, a reflection of thoughts once believed, visions once felt as true. You may have wondered why today, of all days, feels so charged with divine electricity, why everything seems to shift in your favor so suddenly and wonderfully. But the truth is, this moment is not sudden at all. It has been gestating in the unseen, nurtured by the quiet persistence of your inner vision. You dared to imagine a greater life. You dared to believe in things not yet seen. And though the world around you may have laughed, delayed, or rejected your truth, you held onto it in silence. Today, July 24th, is simply the day your inner world breaks through the outer shell. This is the day where the illusion of separation ends, and the union of your mind and your reality becomes unmistakable. The miracle you are witnessing now is not luck, it is law. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the most powerful force in creation. Every circumstance you're now facing, every sudden blessing that has shown up without explanation, is the fruit of seeds you planted not with your hands, but with your consciousness. You visualized it, you felt it. You returned to that place every night, even when nothing outside of you had changed. You made it real inside, and now the outer world had no choice but to obey the command of your inner decree. Most people live as prisoners to what they can see, trapped in the illusions of limitation, believing that reality is something happening to them rather than something flowing from them. But you broke that pattern. You began to walk in awareness, in creative power, in divine authority. You stopped reacting and started creating. You took your attention off the problem and placed it on the solution. You understood the truth that what you see is always the echo, never the cause. The world is a mirror, and the reflection must bow to the image you hold within. When you felt unworthy, unqualified, unloved, what showed up in your life reflected that inner posture. But when you began to shift, when you started imagining yourself whole, successful, loved, abundant, chosen, everything began to change. Perhaps you didn't see it immediately. Maybe days turned to weeks and weeks into months. Still, you didn't give up. You persisted in the assumption that what you imagined was already yours, and now here you are, on July 24th, the day that destiny and reality intersected in your favor. The phone call, the opportunity, the breakthrough, the divine encounter, all of it is simply your imagination clothed in physical form. The world thinks it's a coincidence, but you know better. You remember the moment you imagined this. You remember when no one believed, yet you stood in faith. You remember when the vision felt more real than the facts, and you chose to believe in it anyway. That belief created today. That inner knowing shaped this hour. That unwavering assumption opened a door no man can shut. This is not about pretending, it's about knowing. When you operate from imagination, you are not escaping reality, you are crafting it. You are stepping into the truest version of yourself, the one who lives from the inside out. You are calling forth what has always been yours. Imagination is the secret place where you and the Creator become one. It is the workshop of miracles, the temple of manifestation, and in that sacred space you have shaped today. This wonderful day, this divine surprise, this shift that cannot be undone, it was birthed in you first. You may not have realized how powerful your mind was. You may have underestimated the creative force within you. But now that you are walking in the results of your belief, everything changes. No more waiting for validation, no more shrinking into doubt. You now understand the law of life, as within, so without. And with that realization comes freedom. If you could imagine your way into this moment, then you can imagine your way into any reality you desire. There are no limits except those you accept. Today's miracle is the beginning of a new standard. What once seemed distant is now present. What once looked impossible is now in your hands, all because you dared to imagine it. Don't let this revelation fade. Don't let the world's noise drown out your inner knowing. Keep returning to that place of vision. Keep practicing the art of assumption. Keep seeing yourself in the state of the wish fulfilled. The more you do, the faster the world responds. You are not waiting for blessings to drop from the sky. You are generating them from your consciousness. This is the great mystery so few understand, that your reality is self-created, and imagination is the seed of everything you reap. Your emotions, your beliefs, your inner dialogues, they all contribute to the soil in which miracles grow. And what a miracle this day has become! A doorway has opened, and now you see with clarity that the most powerful thing you can ever do is imagine boldly, fearlessly, and faithfully. The world will always catch up. The outer will always reflect the inner, and the more disciplined you become in your imagination, the more predictable your success becomes. Today proves that. Let this day be your reminder. July 24th is your testimony. Your imagination did not lie to you. It led you, it guided you, it built the bridge between hope and fulfillment. And now your life will never be the same. The present moment is the appointed hour. Today is not random, it is destiny. There are no accidents in the divine order of life. No stray events, no wasted days, no meaningless moments. Everything that unfolds is perfectly aligned with the appointed hour, the sacred timing known only to the spirit within you. And today, July 24th, is that appointed hour. This is not just another day. It is a divinely orchestrated unveiling of what has always been yours. For too long, the mind has been conditioned to expect blessings in some distant future, to believe that good things must take years, that breakthroughs are rare, that timing is out of your control. But now, something deeper awakens within you. Today becomes the revelation that the power of the appointed hour is not in the waiting, but in the realization that now is always the moment of creation. You have entered into alignment with divine timing, not by force, not by luck, but by the awareness that your life is not governed by clocks or calendars, but by your state of consciousness. When you live in the illusion of time, you push your desires further into the future. You say one day, and so that day never comes, but when you awaken to the truth that this moment is the only moment there is, when you accept that your imagination, your faith, and your belief create now, then time bends to you. The divine promise does not delay, it waits for you to recognize its presence, and the moment you do, what you once called the future rushes into your now. That is what today is. July 24th is not late, and it is not early. It is exactly on time. It is the meeting place between your persistence and God's perfect will. All your preparation, all your waiting, all your inner battles have led you here, and though it may have seemed like nothing was happening, heaven was moving. You could not see the unseen alignment. You could not feel the subtle rearranging of details behind the curtain. But now, suddenly, the curtain has lifted, and what has been quietly maturing in the background bursts into your present moment. The job appears, the relationship opens, the opportunity knocks, the door swings wide, not because you chased it, but because you aligned with it. You see, when you persist in the assumption that your desire is already yours, you collapse the distance between now and someday. You step into the appointed hour and claim it as your own. The secret is not in struggling, nor in waiting endlessly for something to change outside of you. The secret is knowing that the appointed hour begins when you feel it real, when you assume its truth, when you claim its presence even while the outer world offers no proof, and now the proof has arrived. This is the manifestation of your faith, the evidence of things not seen, the reward for holding firm when everything told you to let go. This day is not a coincidence. It is a reward. It is not luck. It is the physical appearance of your inner commitment. Every time you felt it, imagined it, prayed for it, and most importantly lived from it, you set the wheels of this divine timing in motion. The universe does not operate on man-made schedules. The soul doesn't look at calendars. Spirit responds only to assumption, to frequency, to belief. And today, the spiritual aligns with the natural in undeniable clarity. You are not early and you are not late. You are right on time. There is a reason it didn't happen last week, or last month, or last year. Had it come earlier, you would not have been ready. Had it appeared sooner, you might have doubted it, mishandled it, or let fear sabotage it. But today, on July 24th, you are prepared, not because of something you did outwardly, but because inwardly you have evolved. You have become the version of yourself who matches this blessing. You have grown into the vibration of the miracle. You now walk in the confidence of the one who already has it. You think differently, feel differently, move differently. And that change within you summoned this day. Most people waste their now by worrying about the future or regretting the past, but you chose to honor the present moment. You chose to believe that the now is sacred. You chose to walk by faith, not sight, and in doing so you stepped into the eternal now where all things are possible. You did not wait for signs to prove it. You became the sign. You did not beg for timing to shift. You aligned with it. That shift within you created the appointed hour. It is not outside of you. It never was. It was always waiting for you to realize that what you seek is seeking you, and what you assume becomes your reality. The appointment was always set. The miracle was always coming, but it could only arrive when you were ready to receive it, not just with your hands, but with your heart, your mind, and your spirit. And today you have arrived. This is the collision between divine promise and personal readiness. This is the moment when delay is broken, where confusion ends and clarity reigns. Today is the hour when heaven and earth agree. Do not doubt it. Do not reduce this moment to a fluke or random coincidence. Stand in the truth of it, declare it, celebrate it, mark it down as the day everything shifted. Let July 24th become your testimony, the day that proves all things are truly possible for the one who believes. It is not your job to make miracles happen. It is your job to prepare for them, and today, because you believed even when it hurt, because you endured even when it was silent, because you expected even when it seemed delayed, you now walk in the reality of what was always meant for you. Don't let anyone tell you this day doesn't matter. It matters greatly. It is the culmination of your inner work, the answer to your deepest prayers, the arrival of what was already finished in the unseen. Let this be a holy moment. Let this be the day your faith becomes sight. And remember, if this could manifest, then everything else is possible. This present moment is the appointed hour, and it will not return void. Today is your proof. Faith is the substance of the miracle. Your inner conviction has created this moment. There are times in life when nothing in the outer world changes, yet something inside of you begins to shift so powerfully that reality has no choice but to respond. That shift is called faith, not hope, not wishful thinking, but pure, unwavering, soul-rooted faith, the kind that moves mountains and calls forth miracles. And today, July 24th, is not just another date. It is the living proof that your faith was never in vain. You see, the world teaches you to believe only in what you can see, to measure truth by evidence and possibility, but faith defies logic. Faith looks at impossibility and dares to say, "It is already done." Faith is the power that brought you to this day. It is the unseen force that carried you through nights of tears, seasons of silence, and long stretches of delay. Faith is what whispered, "Keep going," when nothing around you gave a reason to believe. It is not a passive stance. It is an active power. It is the seed that grows in invisible soil, watered by belief and nourished by persistence. And now the fruit has appeared. Today's breakthrough, today's unexpected miracle, today's divine arrival did not come from the hands of man. It came from your belief in something higher, greater, and truer than what your senses reported. Long before this day came to pass, you had already accepted its reality in your heart. You felt it real. You walked as if it was done. You prayed not from lack, but from fulfillment. You spoke the end from the beginning. That is what faith does. It calls things that are not as though they already are, and because you did that, this day has come. The world around you may still be catching up, but your spirit has already arrived. You are living in the manifestation of the invisible. What was once only felt, believed, and imagined is now tangible, undeniable, and present. This is what faith produces, not just hope, but evidence, real, physical evidence, and not just any evidence, but the exact kind you once imagined in the privacy of your spirit. The beauty of faith is that it requires no proof to begin, yet always produces proof in the end. It asks you to believe when there's no reason to, and rewards you with more than you ever dreamed possible. And today, as you receive this sudden miracle, you realize something deeply powerful. The journey was never about the thing you were believing for. It was about becoming the person who could believe that deeply in the first place. Your faith has expanded. It has been refined. It has grown through the fire of doubt and emerged unshakable. There were moments when you questioned everything, when delay made you wonder if you were wrong, when silence made you feel abandoned, when obstacles made you feel like giving up. But faith doesn't rely on feelings. Faith holds steady when emotions waver. It anchors you in a truth bigger than circumstances. It keeps you focused not on what's happening, but on what's possible. And today, possibility has become reality. Every time you chose to believe in the unseen, you moved closer to this day. Every time you rejected fear, you aligned with the promise. Every time you said, "I still believe," even with a trembling voice, you strengthened the bridge that brought today's blessing to your door. And now that it's here, this job, this opportunity, this relationship, this healing, this breakthrough, you can look back and see the invisible threads of faith that wove it all together. You see now that what looked like waiting was really preparation. What looked like rejection was divine redirection. What looked like silence was actually sacred alignment. The thing about miracles is that they often arrive suddenly, but they are never rushed. They come exactly when you are ready, when you have become the version of yourself who can receive it fully, protect it, and walk in it with wisdom. Today is that day. Your faith made it possible, not because you forced it, but because you trusted it. You didn't chase it, you attracted it, you didn't manipulate it. You manifested it through surrender and alignment, and now you don't just have a miracle. You have a testimony. You are no longer the one hoping. You are now the one living in the answer. That shift changes everything. It changes how you see yourself. It changes how you pray. It changes how you walk through the world. Because once you've tasted the fruit of faith, you can never return to fear. You now know what's possible. You now know that your belief has power, that your inner conviction can shape outer events, that you are not a victim of life, but a co-creator with it. Let this day be your reminder. Let it burn into your memory that faith is never wasted, that every word you spoke in alignment with your desire mattered, that every visualization, every declaration, every moment of inner agreement brought you closer to this appointed hour. Let July 24th be the proof that faith is not abstract. It is substance, real living substance, the very foundation of every miracle. And the best part, if this miracle came by faith, then the next one will too. And the one after that. You are now walking in a new realm of authority, a new level of expectation, a new season of manifestation. You no longer wait in fear, you wait in power. You no longer question if it will come. You know it already has, and you are simply aligning with the timing of its arrival. Faith is your new home, and as long as you live there, miracles will never be far behind. This is the life you were created for. This is the version of you the world was waiting to see, the one who believes against all odds, the one who creates by conviction, the one who walks by faith, not by sight. And today, that faith has brought you into a reality so rich, so divine, so unexpected yet perfectly designed that you can only stand in awe and say, "It is done." You are the operant power today responded to who you became today, July 24th, is not wonderful by accident, nor did it arrive through the hands of another. It came because of you. It came in response to a change within, to a quiet but powerful awakening that happened not in the outer world, but in your inner state of being. The miracle of today was never random. It did not choose you because of luck, nor because you did all the right things by external standards. It found you because you finally stood in your power. You became the operant force, the deciding authority, the one who remembered that life does not act upon you. You act upon it. You stepped into the truth that the world is simply a mirror reflecting the image you boldly hold within. No one gave this day to you. You summoned it. You commanded it with your persistence, your conscious assumptions, your invisible decrees. While others waited for signs to act, you acted from the end. While others waited for proof to believe, you believed until proof had no choice but to show up. And today, that proof has come. You did not beg for this moment. You aligned with it. You didn't plead for the world to change. You changed the image you carried within, and the world restructured itself in response. Because you are the operant power, the life force that causes manifestation, the one with the authority to say, "Let it be," and it is. You may not have always known this. You may have once thought you were a victim of circumstance, a passenger in a story written by someone else. But at some point you woke up. You saw the connection between your inner assumptions and your outer experiences. You realized that the world does not happen to you, it happens through you, that everything you experience is a direct response to your own state of consciousness. You stopped repeating old stories of lack, fear, and abandonment, and began to write new ones, stories of abundance, peace, power, and worthiness. And the world, as it always does, obeyed the change in your command. The reality of today is the result of a shift in your posture. You stopped looking outward for permission and started creating inwardly from authority. You became the one who no longer needs validation to believe that you are worthy, chosen, powerful, and guided. You no longer asked life to do something for you. You declared it to be done, and it was. Because that is the law, the inner world rules the outer. The world is plastic to the molding of your consciousness, and once you began to live from this truth, you became unstoppable. That's why this miracle today, the call, the news, the opportunity, the healing, the alignment, feels so precise, because it was not created out there, it was formed in you. It is the echo of the new identity you dared to embody. The shift did not come from struggle, but from surrender to your divine authority. You stopped doubting your power. You stopped shrinking yourself to fit into narratives of defeat. You rose internally into the state of one who already possesses it. That change was quiet. No one may have seen it, but heaven did. The laws of the universe responded instantly, and time was only the veil between decision and manifestation. But that veil has now lifted. Today is the evidence. Today is the day your inner reality spills into the outer realm, and now you understand what it truly means to be the operant power, not someone waiting for favor, but someone walking in it, not someone hoping for change, but someone initiating it. You are no longer a reactor. You are the cause. You determine how long it takes. You determine how big it gets. You determine what stays and what fades. And you've chosen today to be the day when all the old limits fall and your true power becomes undeniable. The shift you feel is permanent because it didn't come from circumstance, it came from identity. And when identity changes, life cannot remain the same. You stopped negotiating with fear. You stopped giving attention to what you didn't want. You stopped telling stories that didn't serve the vision you held. And even when doubt whispered, you stayed loyal to the vision. You walked by the inner law, assume it, live it, embody it, and let the outer fall into line. That's the discipline that created this day. That's the power you hold. You didn't need perfect conditions to believe. You created perfect conditions by what you believed, and now that you're standing in the manifestation, you see clearly this world is yours to shape. The people, the timing, the signs, the money, the opportunities, they are not outside your reach. They respond to the frequency of your state, and your state today is magnetic. It pulls to you what you are now aligned with, what you are now ready to hold. Because what you carry internally is what you inevitably carry externally. The circumstances of your life are simply the picturing of yourself, concept, and today's breakthrough is not just a gift. It is a mirror. It reflects the worthiness, the power, the authority, and the truth you now live from. Let that sink in. You did not stumble into this reality. You declared it. You stepped into it before it was seen. You wore the crown before others saw it. You held the promise when it was invisible, and because of that, today had to respond. The world is your reflection, and when you change the root, you change the fruit. When you shift the cause, you transform the effect. That is the great secret the world keeps missing. You are not here to be shaped. You are here to shape. You are the source of your experience, not the subject of it. And now that you've remembered that, there is no going back. July 24th is your divine reminder. The breakthrough wasn't given, it was created. And now that you've tasted the power of conscious creation, you can live in this posture every day. You no longer look for signs. You are the sign. You no longer wait for alignment. You walk in it. You are the operant power, and the world must now respond to the version of you who knows it. Gratitude unlocks the overflow. What you praise multiplies. Today, July 24th, is the day you walk into evidence that the miracle you once felt in your spirit now lives in your hands. It is the fulfillment of what you imagined, the answer to what you faithfully believed, and yet this day is not the end. It is the beginning of overflow. Because what unlocks the continuing wave of favor is not effort, not striving, not even more prayer. It is gratitude. Gratitude is the unseen key that turns the lock of multiplication. It is the inner song of agreement with divine abundance. It is not a reaction to good things, but a vibration that attracts more of them. And as you stand today in awe of how quickly things have turned, how suddenly the breakthrough appeared, how wonderfully life responded to your inner faith, your next move is not to question it, doubt it, or wonder if it will last. Your next move is to give thanks. Real, deep, soul-saturated thanksgiving, not for what might happen, but for what has already taken place and for what's still pouring in, because gratitude does not just celebrate, it magnetizes, it keeps the channel open. It tells life, yes, more of this. It is not passive, it is creative. It is the spiritual law of agreement. The more you praise, the more you raise. And right now, this present miracle is evidence of what that praise has already done. Gratitude is the most underestimated power in the world. People believe it's something to feel after something good happens, but the wise understand that gratitude is not a result, it is a cause. When you live in thanksgiving before the outer world gives you a reason, you bend reality in your favor. You plant seeds in the unseen, and those seeds must yield fruit. You show heaven you are ready, not by begging, but by celebrating. And now heaven is responding, not with drops, but with downpours, not with crumbs, but with feasts, because you no longer praise just what you see. You praise from the knowing that your life is governed by a source that never runs dry. When you wake up each day thankful for what is and what's still unfolding, you create a vortex of divine overflow. The money comes easier. The favor flows faster, the doors open wider, and it's not because you're trying harder, it's because you're aligned with the vibration of reception. Gratitude tunes your spirit to the frequency of fulfillment, and once you're there, lack cannot coexist, fear cannot hold you, delay cannot block you. You become a match for miracles, not just once, but continuously. That's what makes today so special. Not only did you receive the promise, but you received it with the heart posture that multiplies it. You didn't just want the miracle, you honored it. You didn't just hope for the answer, you celebrated it in advance. You gave thanks when you had nothing in your hands but a vision in your heart. You walked through empty seasons as if you were full. You praised through pain. You worshipped in the waiting. And now the floodgates have opened. July 24th is the day you see what praise really does. It turns potential into presence. It turns faith into fulfillment. It invites acceleration, because gratitude is the sign that you've accepted the gift before it arrives, and now the gifts cannot stop coming. You may have thought you were just being faithful. You may have thought you were just staying hopeful, but what you were really doing was multiplying. Every time you gave thanks, you increased your capacity to receive. Every time you spoke life over your day, over your vision, over your future, you were expanding the container for what God was about to pour. You didn't even know the full scale of the miracle that was coming. You just knew it was real. And now that it's here, your praise cannot stop, because what you honor stays, what you bless grows, what you acknowledge responds. That's the principle you live by now. You don't need everything to be perfect to be grateful. You are grateful because gratitude makes things perfect. It brings order to chaos. It brings meaning to silence. It brings peace in uncertainty, and the best part, gratitude changes you. It shifts your perspective from lack to overflow. It reminds you that you are not abandoned, you are adored, that you are not waiting for provision, you are walking in it, that nothing is missing and everything is working together for your good. Today is not just a reward, it is a reflection of the inner atmosphere you've cultivated. You turned your inner life into a sanctuary of thanksgiving, and now your outer life is a field of harvest. The smiles, the connections, the sudden yes, the unexpected favor, it's all the echo of the gratitude you have given in silence, in stillness, and even in sorrow. You are now the kind of person who doesn't need a sign to believe. You are the sign. Your gratitude is your weapon. Your praise is your proof. And you understand now that when you rejoice in the small, the great must come. When you give thanks for what's unseen, the seen has no choice but to arrive. You have stepped into a dimension of divine overflow, not because you chased it, but because you attracted it through thanksgiving. And this is only the beginning, because when you live from gratitude, you never run out. There is always more joy, more peace, more revelation, more resources, more clarity, more divine alignment. You don't just receive a blessing, you become a magnet for them. That is the power of gratitude. It keeps the river flowing. It turns the miracle into a movement. Today, July 24th, is your launching point. Not only because something amazing happened, but because your spirit is now trained to expect it. You have built a rhythm of thanksgiving, and that rhythm will carry you through every new level. You don't return to fear when you walk in gratitude. You don't spiral in lack when you live in praise. You stay elevated. You stay in overflow. So now, breathe in the wonder of this moment. Let the joy of it sink into your bones, but more importantly, praise. Not just with your mouth, but with your mindset. Praise in how you think. Praise in how you show up. Praise in how you love, speak, give, and lead. Let gratitude be your default setting. Let it govern your responses. Let it soften your heart and open your eyes, because the more you praise, the more you see. The more you see, the more you receive, and the more you receive, the more you overflow. You are now living in the evidence that what you honor expands. What you bless returns, and what you thank God for multiplies. July 24th will forever be etched in your memory as the day you realized that gratitude is the key that unlocks the continuous flow of the miraculous.